Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
What are the Kamras doing on Diwali? What do you do normally?
I suck at Tash, firstly. So I get.
I mean, it's just
Oh, then come
sugar.
and play with us.
I suck at it. I'm so bad, and I've never really bothered to learn also. But I love the dressing up and meeting people bit of it. So that's my favorite part about Diwali. It's like all the Indian clothes come out and all.
Yeah.
You know, and we missed that during the pandemic. So last year and this year, hopefully, we can socialize properly and go to like big Diwali parties.
And you do a bit of a puja, like an arti, your brother, you. Your
Yes,
parents?
my brother and my parents don't live in Bombay, so it's just my brother and me. We do a small little puja. It's even shorter when my mother's not around, but if she comes to Bombay, it tends to be a proper thing.
From me, Hrishi K, everybody who's watching, listening, it's a terrific series. It's called Hush Hush. It stars Soha Ali Khan, Kritika Kamra, Shahana Goswami, Juhi Chawla, Aisha Julka, splendid ensemble. It's produced by Tanuja Chandra and also directed by her, largely. I think 2 episodes by somebody else, which is what we will discuss. Hello, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
Very well. There must have been lots of estrogen on this set. Is that a good thing?
And some testosterone.
And just some testosterone.
We also have
Yeah.
testosterone, no?
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just checking.
No, but it's wonderful to have parts written with so much clear female bonding, which is what I really loved about it. And I'd like your comment on that. These bonds are so deep, they're wonderful, they're sometimes words fail me.
Yes.
And that must have appealed to you in the writing.
It appealed to me in the writing. In fact, when I read it, it didn't strike me that, there's so many women in this. I just read them as characters. And then it was almost incidental that, she's also a woman, she's also a woman, she's also a woman, the cop is also a woman. And then, of course, when you write the writers, the dialogue writers, the head of security, there's a lot of women. It's just nice to be able to be a part of something where everybody is at a different stage, women, different stages in their lives, some married, some single, some professional, some not working, lots of things going on, as women do, and different facets. Something that happens in each of them because of who they are respond to it differently, as we all do as women. And what our responses also changes within us, over time. We all have a journey, we all have an arc, we're all complex. We're all showing something on the outside, something's happening on the inside. And of course, our friendship, So I thought that it was, as somebody who is also from an urban background, who also has friends, it was something that connected with me, even though my character may not be someone like me. I just thought it was very real, and it would be challenging. Sometimes it's more challenging to play something real on screen than something that has costume and something that has drama and something that is larger than life. You're buttressed by those things in dramatic music. But when it's raw and it's stripped down of everything except for naked emotion, you feel like this is going to be a ride.
You have the best child actor of all time in your house.
I have 2. One is actually still, both of them are
Talking
still
about
children.
Kemu.
Yes.
You're also talking about Kemu.
Yes.
But, you must have been impressed by these kids who are playing your children. The boy is
Yes.
quite an actor, I say.
Absolutely.
I mean, did you have to workshop a lot with him, or he's just
Not so-
instinctive?
We did do reads and we did workshop, but he was instinctive. And of course, what he's responding to it was incredibly emotional and traumatic. And I was very impressed. And that girl was like just a little bit older than Inaya. And I kept thinking, my God, I couldn't imagine putting her through this. But physically, just the idea of shooting for 12 hours and it being exhausting and doing night shoots and things like that.
Wow.
And they would fall asleep. Like literally, there's a shot where they're sleeping. And because it was so late and they were so exhausted, they had actually gone to sleep through the shot. It's incredible.
If you ever lived in Delhi, are you from Delhi?
Yeah.
What is it?
Because you just have the Delhi
vibe.
accent, the Delhi vibe down pat in this one.
Oh, yeah?
there are portions when, you just turn around and say, is this Punjabi Bagh or Karol Bagh? Or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
that's the idea.
It's
She's
just
from
fantastic.
Kapurthala, lives in Delhi, Gurgaon. So that is the thing. And she's Dolly.
She's a dolly.
Dolly
Yeah.
can't
Dolly.
get more Delhi. Yeah.
So, I mean, you got that down pat. I mean, it was just superb. But also what I loved in your character arc was the fact that, I mean, all marriages have their ups and downs, relationships have their ups and downs. I don't want to get into the details of it because it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But the fact that at points you find friendship in a marriage,
Yes.
and I thought that to me really spoke to me.
Yes.
Did that speak to you also? I mean, in your entire character arc when you were reading and...
It did really. And also Dolly feels like somebody, she's not like me at all and I'm not in those situations, but I know these people. I know people who have issues like this in their life, in their marriage, and women who generally who take the onus of fixing a relationship on themselves. And they're not really able to, ask their husbands to change something or their in-laws to do something for them. They're always like, they're just, just tolerating a lot. And that part of the character I thought was, I could, understand her and have sympathy for her. And the fact that, I mean, again, I can't say much,
Sure,
but how that changes for her and changes her life or her relationship for the better is beautiful and very simple in how it happens. But she just finds the courage to ask for it, and it happens.
The great Shabana Azmi would be very proud of your Urdu Zaban.
Having played my stepmother and my real mother.
Yeah. And then, I'm looking through credits and I realized Juhi Chaturvedi wrote it. I mean, she grew up in
Yeah,
Lucknow.
yeah.
She grew up in Lucknow and she speaks very good Urdu and things like that. You must have enjoyed speaking those dialogues. They're just very, very good
Anyway,
dialogues.
I'm a big fan of Juhi Chaturvedi's, and she has this. So the whole thing with Zaira is that she had flipped the way of speaking. There are certain lines where "kya hi karte honge" instead of, like there are certain ways of.
Yeah, we went
speaking
into some Umrao Jan mode.
Yeah.
Kya hi karte
And
honge?
she
But
says these things very casually,
it's natural.
So it was that. I mean, I'm always I enjoy using language as a tool to creating your character as well. And I think I was lucky enough to have my Hindi is good because I grew up in Delhi, and even I think having grown up being around a lot of theatre people, and Urdu is also something one has heard enough of. But the lines definitely helped, and the whole idea that Tanuja had for Zaira, which has a certain poeticness. She has a poetic, tragic kind of feel to her as a character, and it's there in her language as well, and in her connections to people, in her failed relationships with family, with lovers, with everything has a certain kind of romantic, tragic lilt to it. So it's there in the language as well.
Often in shows where you throw lots of women together, the fact that they have troubled relationships with men in their lives is overemphasized. And I was very pleased to see, at least in the first couple of episodes, we don't want to talk about what ensues further, that your character actually has a very strong marriage, very supportive, wonderful husband. And I don't even know the actor. I mean, he's done such a great job.
Chaitanya, he's very good.
Yeah, there are some of these actors who we need to know about.
Absolutely.
Who've done such a great job. You enjoyed those scenes with him?
Yes, and such real scenes of actual marriage, the way you are with each other. They're also friends. They fight, there's some great fights as well that happen, like as you do, even on a daily basis, like yesterday, Kunal and myself. And then you pick up where you left off. You have children, you take each other for granted. You say things, and especially, Saiba says a lot of things. Things just roll off her tongue, and then she's like, "Sorry, I didn't mean that." And so people know her also and accept her. And certainly, I think for someone as fiery as her to find a man who is secure enough to love her and accept her as an equal and respect, that they have that kind of relationship of equals is great, because it really is a partnership.
I was really surprised that Kopal has directed a couple of episodes.
Yes.
I always thought, especially when I came for the trailer launch and I saw you guys there, I thought it was just a Tanuja show.
Yeah.
And I know Kopal because I always thought she was an ad filmmaker. I've done some voiceovers for some ad films for her. And then I texted her and said, dude, you've directed this. And, you know, I didn't even know she was doing other stuff apart from ad films. I'd like you to comment on
Yes.
those couple of episodes.
Gopal and Ashish, they're 3 directors.
Okay, okay.
Tanuja ma'am has done 4 episodes and 2 and 1. So it was great. Even her process, it didn't feel like she was doing long form for the first time. Just these. I remember having these great conversations with Kopal where you know, we would discuss a scene before going to set, like the previous day, where she would tell us where she comes from, and you know, and so much from just lived experience. I think that's also a plus when you have a woman director, because they understand relationships, and especially in the personal scenes, they understand, you know, the nuances of being a woman in a marriage or in a society. And just those notes were very, very helpful. I had a great time working with them.
Yeah, I just spent 20 minutes with Jui and with Aisha. And they were like, they made it seem to me in those 20 minutes that they were the odd ones out. These young girls, they're so fantastic, they're so wonderful. It's really gracious of them to say that. But I have a feeling that they were at the top of their game.
Yeah. I mean, for them.
Despite saying, you know, we're out of touch with this generation and this and that. So just seeing Juhi in particular and then Aisha at work on their craft, how was that for you?
I think it takes a lot, you know, it's always really nice to see people constantly challenging themselves. And as women from a certain generation of cinema, which may have had limited scope for them to really break out of a mold at that time, because that was the nature of cinema and there wasn't that much that was there in terms of characters that were very different from, you know, there was a kind of more or less run-of-the-mill cookie cutter type for an actress, or there was a very small spectrum, let's say. And today for them to take that risk and play something so outside of their realm of comfort or familiarity, and to do it at a time when there's so much critical, you know, eyes on you and so many opinions, it shows, you know, almost like a childlike excitement in them as performers to do something different, a hunger that they have to work with somebody like Tanuja ma'am, to be a part of something that is a huge shift in the way that cinema is being viewed, whether it's in the OTT platforms, working with Prime Video. So that's really commendable to see people shift out of what could have been their comfort zone and do something so, you know, diametrically different from what they've ever done, but do it, like you said, because of those years of experience, because of that desire and thirst in them, to do it so well and so instinctively, you know. And credit goes entirely to them, to Tanuja ma'am, because we know how she directs, you know, the way she's kind of, all the performances, she's really brought them out in each and every one of us. And the writing, you know, the writing really has created those characters, but it's really amazing to see them do something with utmost ease, even though there's so much newness and could have been perhaps trepidation to do something like this. But it was really a delight to watch them. And I'm so excited to see people's response. We've been saying this, but so excited to see people's response, because we've still been part of it a little bit, seeing them around, and we've lived that experience. But to actually, and even for us now, when we see the show fully, is when we will also understand the gravity of seeing them in such an unusual role.
You know, what I loved about your character is that she has a moral compass. I mean, she can trash talk when she wants to. She and Zara will have differences, but she's the only one, and we're not going to say why, but let's just say when the shit hits the roof, she's the only one who constantly says, let's go to the cops, let's go to the cops, let's go to the cops.
Yes.
And in the hands of a lesser actress, it would have gone to dust. You know, hats off to you. You've just done such a wonderful job on that.
Thank
you. Comment on how each individual is so radically different in this group, and that probably is the reason why it just looks so natural, because you have such defined characters.
Yes. I think that's why, because we're all reacting differently. My character, of course, feels ethically bound. You know, she's very principled, and she feels that she knows what is right and that they must follow a particular path. Zaira also is very passionately committed to her path, and there's a sense of loyalty that she has to her friends, where Saiba is perhaps more loyal to her family, and she's saying, of course there's friendship, but I have children and I have other things that also compel me to do something. And then there's Dolly, who's sort of almost torn between two very vocal sort of people who are going at it, and she has her own very legitimate angst and trauma that she's dealing with and coming to terms with, and her own personal situation. And she's not really able to even articulate and express that sometimes, because sometimes when you're in a group, especially this dynamic of three friends, Ishi's there as well, but when there are three of us together, I feel like in real life also when it happens, sometimes one person becomes a spectator and an observer, and then that, of course, the balance changes, the balance of power changes. But there's some scenes where Dolly's observing and feeling, and then she also is finding a voice. So it's very interesting to see how that plays out. And a lot of it is also fluid, because it's three people. Of course, there's a script and of course there's dialogues. But between Tanuja and ourselves as performers, so much of it changed.
So Tanuja just told me that almost all the cinematography was handheld.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Now, I want to understand from an actor's perspective, how does that change the way you emote? Or do you have to be very conscious of a moving handheld camera?
Luckily here we didn't have to, because Tanuja ma'am's style of shooting is such that she doesn't care about if you're facing the camera, if you're getting covered. A lot of her dialogues are when we're walking away. It's not I think that's what keeps it real. It's not staged. It's not choreographed. It's just the camera capturing you in, it's almost like being in the room with the actors, or in a part of this, conversation where somebody is walking off, the other person is following, people come back. There's a scene where both of them are having this heated, argument in the balcony, which is also like too short, and I'm not able to say anything.
Yeah.
And just so, it's refreshing. You don't have to hit a mark. Of course, you have to hit the mark for like action and certain sequences, but a lot of it was not staged. And that's why the choice. That's why handheld, because it keeps things shaky, real, much like you being a part of the situation yourself.
So there are points when your character, she becomes very demure.
Yeah.
Was that in the script? Was that something that Tanuja explained to you? Was that your interpretation? You said, I want to play it demure. And
that is the personality. She's a bit of a pushover. She is, really protected. She is like a baby of this group. Even in her marriage, she's not somebody who can really speak her mind. That is her journey. And I think that arc is beautiful. From where when you meet Dolly, she's demure, she's timid. But towards the end of the season, she learns to be stronger and to be able to hold her ground, which I think is beautiful.
Where is this gated community, dude? I want to move there, rob a house or something.
There are lots of them around there.
It is so beautiful.
But the chairman is very strict about who he lets.
He is like a society chairman. Where is it? What, Delhi, Gurgaon?
Gurgaon,
Where,
yeah.
Gurgaon.
I mean, it's kind of, I think it's kind of, a good example of various such spaces that one has in Gurgaon and in Delhi.
In parts
Gurgaon,
of Delhi, like scenic farms and that kind of area.
Yeah.
Wow, golf carts, this, that.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
fancy,
Good life.
very fancy.
No, but having said that, the production design and the art is just fantastic.
Fantastic.
Every frame looks like a picture postcard, and it just goes with the vibe of these urban characters.
Yeah.
Tanuja's biggest strength as a director.
Her ability to communicate nuanced emotion required in a moment which is unsaid. And especially in a show like this, where there's already so many complexities to any moment of performance, because there are times when you are hiding something to the character in front of you, but the audience and you both know that there's something else going on inside. Sometimes you're hiding things from people that are close to you. Sometimes you're lying to yourself. I mean, there are so many different layers to what's actually going on. And I mean, even something as simple as even in terms of our appearances, there was a lot of discussion about, are we really going to be that dressed up after a big incident like this happens?
Yeah.
And she said, no, yes, you will, because you are still trying to cover up and live life normally. And the whole fact of Zaira constantly having a bright mouth, and these are all choices that are all conscious and very deliberate. So for her, I think Tanuja is somebody who knows, even at the time of dubbing, you know, she gives very precise instruction to bring the emotional truth of a moment in you. And there's always a voice in me going, wah, 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 yaar, Tanuja, wah. And then, you know, you're able to arrive at the point that she wants to take you to. And as an actor, when you're able to do that, you feel good, but she's actually guiding you and helping you to get there. So there's a gratefulness and appreciation to her ability to bring you there. You know, when she mentions something, you say, yes, that's so correct, but it didn't occur to me necessarily, and you've put it so beautifully that now it will come from within. You know.
Lovely. Last round of questions. The festive season is up ahead. What are Diwali plans? What do you guys do? Do you do tash? Do you do mithaiyan? Do you do khana? All of the above?
Pretty much all of the above. It's just, you know, I think again, bringing it back to my child, when you have a child, perhaps all these festivities take on another level of excitement because your child gets so excited, perhaps more than me, about Holi, about Diwali, about Christmas, about Eid, everything. We've celebrated this year, we've celebrated everything, you know. And it's just an opportunity to come together, spend some time with family, take the day off, and you know, just bond and make some memories. But really, I see it now through the lens of a 5-year-old.
So I can picture you and her lighting diyas together.
Yes, but then hoping that people don't light firecrackers so she can fall asleep at 8 o'clock on time. Which is my main concern. Please don't light firecrackers.
Ah, the travails of a
Khar and
mother.
Bandra. Whatever you want to do outside of Khar Bandra, you do. But I live near a hospital for a reason. Because it's quiet.
It's too good. What are the Kamras doing on Diwali? What do you do normally?
I suck at tash, firstly. So I get.
I mean, it's just
Oh, then come and
shagun.
play with us.
I suck at it. I'm so bad, and I've never really bothered to learn also. But I love the dressing up and meeting people bit of it. So that's my favorite part about Diwali. It's like all the Indian clothes come out and all, you know, and we missed that during the pandemic. So last year and this year, hopefully, we can, you know, socialize properly and go to like big Diwali parties.
And you do a bit of a puja, like an aarti, your brother, you, your
Yes,
parents?
my brother and my parents don't live in Bombay, so it's just my brother and me. We do a small little puja. It's even shorter when my mother's not around, but if she comes to Bombay, it tends to be a proper thing.
Same. I think Bombay, my friends are really my family, and I have been here long enough, so I have a whole variety and range of them. So I have actually, for me, I really look forward to festivals like Holi and Diwali in Bombay, because for me, I really hop from one place to another. I'll go to, you know, a friend's house and maybe do a aarti and a puja there. Then you'll go somewhere else and play cards for a bit. And then, you know, you go and move from small intimate spaces to big, you know, frolicking parties. And before you know it, it's 8 in the morning. And I love that.
Hush Hush on Amazon Prime Video. Please watch it, give it a lot of love, and you will thank me for this tip. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much,
much.
Hrishi.